My name is Mark Fratto, and I'm the voice of the Washington Commanders at FedEx Field. You're listening to the Command This podcast with Steve, Dev, and Phil.
What's up, everybody? Happy Thirsty Thursday. It is episode 328 for Command This podcast, calling this one Playoff Payback. As you know, your boys are going into enemy territory, into the mighty city of Tampa Bay, Florida. And the Commanders' first playoff run in a very, very long time, which we actually have some hope for, unlike the last couple ones. I know we've been there a few times, but in the recent time, but it hasn't been as confident as I think this one is. But we'll let some people come in the chat here for a second. But to talk about Tampa, why not bring in some other content creators from the other side? You guys should know these guys. We met with them before. These are our friends all the way from the great state of Florida, probably spread out all over the world like us. But let's welcome the Bucketeers, our boys J-Lo, Stunna, and Gene. Tampa Tones couldn't be here, but fellas, thank you so much for joining us, man. How are y'all doing today? We'll give you all a quick round of applause, give you on the intro. Thank you. Appreciate you.
What's up?
Yes, let's go. Let's talk some Bucs. Gene, thank you for joining us, man.
By the way, Gino is Eugene Smith. Just to let you know, Steve.
Eugene?
Racist.
Gino.
Dev, how many other black Eugenes do you know?
A lot of them. Eugene Baker, Eugene the Playmaker Baker.
I'm just using your own joke against you.
I was right, though. I was right.
There ain't too many Genos,
bro.
Now y'all know what we argue about before the podcast started. Stuff like, how many black Genos do you know?
And they tried to jump on me and said I was high. That's why I didn't. And I was like, hey, no way it's his name. His name's Eugene, according to ChatGPT.
All good, man. We still love you. But yeah, welcome the fellas from the Bucketeers. We appreciate you taking the time out of your day. We were thankful enough to join you guys on Tuesday on your guys' show. It's good times, and it's always good chopping it up from people from the other side. Get that other subjective external perspective, and I think you guys are some good people. So with us we have Gene, we have Stunna, we have J-Lo. We're gonna help us talk about some Bucs, man. But since we didn't have all you guys on last time, we always start our show, and we'll do this one at a time. We gotta know your fan origin story. So, Gene, we'll start with you. How did you become a fan of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers?
Oh man, I grew up with the Bucs. I mean, I going through the 80s, the 90s, all the way on through. Season ticket holder through the 90s, going into the late 2000s, and I'm just like invested, and I always have been. Ride or die, win or lose, regardless who the draft pick is or how bad the season is, how bad the coach is. I'm just ready for the next year. So when I see other teams struggling, I know how it feels.
Man, we know, man. Don't we know? Yeah. You guys had a good run with Bruce Arians and Tom Brady, so you should have a recent sniff of success lately. But and you had some good run in the past. Brad Johnson was a great quarterback.
Yeah, John Gruden,
Tony Dungy. Yeah, that's good stuff, man. Stunna, what about you? How did you become a fan of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers?
I basically grew up a fan. My dad was a big time football fan, and unfortunately, growing up, it was like, we watched the Dolphins and the Bucs because the Dolphins might win and the Bucs would always lose. That was back in the creamsicle days, and I really was more of a Hurricane fan growing up. But when we drafted Horace Copeland and Lamar Thomas, and we started bringing in those guys, Lawrence Stassi, in the early '90s, I really caught fire with them. The Ray Perkins years were tough, so it was kind of like, Ian Beckles is one of my big time. I was a big time fan of his. He actually came to my Eagle Scout ceremony So getting to meet a Buccaneer back then in an influential time was really important to me. And Ian Beckles is a radio personality here in Tampa, and just to see him to this day. But really, kind of the right. I really wasn't. I was really too young when Liam Bellin and Steve Young in that era, but really kind of the Ray Perkins era is really when I caught fire as a Bucs fan. And when I was in college, I went to college in Nebraska, so they were all college football, and I was like, well, I come from an NFL city, so I kind of like really started showing my fandom, big time then as well. But I'd say the Ray Perkins era is really when I caught fire as a Bucs fan.
Nice, yeah. I don't know. I just remember. I'm a 80s baby, 80s specifically. We're all pretty close in age, but the orange, you guys call them creamsicles. The orange Bucs uniform is what I remember growing up with. And man, just playing Tecmo Bowl. And I just remember Steve Grogan. Of all the quarterbacks, Steve Grogan
was the Bird, man.
Steve
Grogan
was the
Bird
Patriots.
was on the Chiefs. No. At that time, it was Vinny Testaverde was their quarterback.
Yeah, Vinny. The Eric Rett was a running back.
When it went to Steve DeBerg,
Steve DeBerg was there for the 10th anniversary team, and Vinny Testaverde was a 1987 draft pick.
Steve DeBerg was number 17. 17.
DeBerg was on Kansas City on technical. That was
okay.
Yes.
Yeah, he
was 17 for the Bucs. Yes.
Okay, there we go. I just remember he had when your quarterback wasn't good, they had this loopy pass like instead of the dart like all the quarterbacks. But no, that's good stuff, man. All right, J-Lo, what's up, J-Lo? What's cracking? Let us know, man. What's your origin story? Let's tell everyone how you became a fan of the old Buccaneers.
No, I appreciate having me on, man. Man, pretty much, when I moved here back in 2000, my family were very big Bucs fans, educated me, telling me all the good, all the worst times, early 90s, coming into the late 90s, and pretty much, I went to my first Bucs game in 2001 against the Detroit Lions, and I saw how electric the fans were and just enjoying that defensive ball. That's why I'm a defensive guy. I fell in love with the defense.
The trenches.
I never seen a defense so fast, getting up to the quarterback, and keeping points off the board, for the most part. And then just meeting some of the Buck players over the years, just great players. I just got hooked ever since, for the most part. And I've been to so many fun games, at Ray J. There's so many fun games. Yes, we went through a tough time from like 2009 all the way to 2020, which was rough. But I went to a lot of games and still root for my team, back to my best I can. Was I happy with Jameis? Absolutely not. I argued with anybody in that. I just knew he was not going to be good here. Yeah. I tried to get behind him. I was rooting for him. But then finally enough was enough with the turnovers. I couldn't no more. And then finally we brought in Brady, and wow, what a total change in culture to where the losing stopped, to where we won games and not blow it. But pretty much, I grew up a defensive guy, the likes of Brooks, Lynch, Rondé, Sapp. I feel like, Kalijah Kancey is probably a close thing to Sapp. Just getting in the quarterback's head, putting the pressure. This is what I'm getting excited for. It's bringing back memories of why I became a Bucs fan in the first place. So, but for the most part, hey, it's going to be a fun time coming up, man. Like I said, it's great to be a Bucs fan right now.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's good. Appreciate you guys sharing those stories with us. And last time we met in the playoffs, Phil, let's talk about the last time the Redskins met the Buccaneers in the playoffs.
Oh, Lordy. Oh, the myth, the myth, the legend, the should have never been considered for anything again began. So, last time we met in the playoffs after the 2020 season was when we were in our interim time as the Washington football team. And we played in the wildcard game. We had snuck in. We had snuck in as the last division champs, 7-9, and we played the Tom Brady led Buccaneers, right?
COVID year.
Oh my goodness! And man, that game, I will say this, had all of us on the edge of our seats because we were supposed to get our asses kicked, right? We were 7-9 team. We're going against a Bucs team that had won their division. Tom Brady's their quarterback. They'd gone 11-5 that year, and they were favorites to win the Super Bowl. They ended up winning 31-23. But again, that game was very, very close. In fact, we were winning the game. Actually, I shouldn't say we weren't winning the game, but going into the third quarter, it was 18-16. They ended up, like I said, ended up being a trading of scores back and forth, field goals and everything else. That does include the famous Heineke dive that everyone remembers.
Let's go.
And honestly, probably the best game Heineke has had as a pro was that game. I mean, he went 26-44, 306 yards, touchdown, interception, had 6 carries to 46 yards as well for a touchdown as well. In that game, Tom Brady threw for 381, went 22 of 40, 2 touchdowns himself. Really, the biggest difference was we couldn't run the ball for nothing, and they had Leonard Fournette.
There you go. I believe that was Levante David right there at the line, and for us Washington fans, that was a big moment. As much as we didn't like say what you want about Heineke, some loved him, some hate him. He has his own sound effect on this show, but that was good times.
I'm not a Heineke guy. I actually, it's funny because when he first came out, the first time he appeared, I said, this kid may have something. And I remember Ellie sitting there going, no, he's no, don't even think about it. We're never going to see him again. And then 2 weeks later, he's starting in the wild card for an injured Alex Smith. But that was a wild game. That really led us to believe that maybe we would turn the corner as a franchise going into 2021. That didn't happen the way we thought. But yeah, that was a fantastic game. It was exciting. I went to a Buffalo Wild Wings to watch it, where it was nothing but Washington fans in there, and it was a wild atmosphere. So that game is one of several we've had in the playoffs against the Buccateers. And honestly, we faced Buccaneers 3 times in the playoffs going into this. We are 1-2 against them. Bucs beat us after the 99 season, 14-13. If you know, that was the game where Dan Turk completely botched the snap on a field goal that could have won the game for us. And then we beat the Bucs in 2005 in a game in which we really couldn't. Yeah, well, that was a game. That was the that game was all defense that won it for us because we were 10-6, but our passing game had gone completely to hell. But we were able to run the ball, so it was the Clinton Portis show for the most part that year. So, and then the 2020 game as well. But the last time we won a playoff game was against the Bucs in 2005. It was 17-10 was the final score. We had 120. Let me put it this way: we had 120 yards of total offense and won that game.
Chris Sims was the quarterback, right? Chris Sims, I believe.
Yep. Clinton Portis game, right? That Sean Taylor did return a fumble, 51 yards for a touchdown. That was our second touchdown again. First one was a Clinton Portis run. And yeah, Mark Brunell was 7 of 15 that game for 41 yards.
Nice.
That should tell you, I think also tells you how good Tampa Bay's defense was back in the early to mid 2000s.
I think one of you guys were trying to say something. I don't know who was.
Oh, I was just going to ask what your thoughts were about Chase Young while he was in Washington. When you saw his play during that 2020 season, when you got to the playoffs, what were your thoughts about him? Were your expectations pretty high?
Go ahead,
considering
Dev.
where he was drafted.
Go ahead, Dev.
I want Tom.
Take that one, Dev. Go ahead. You're muted.
Oh, he's trash.
Dev, you're muted.
Chase Young's trash, man.
Yeah, but going into that 2020 season, he was an animal, and then he tore his ACL, and he was never the same.
Well, I mean, he was. I'm just like trolling. I don't think Chase Young's really a bad player. I just thought we thought we were getting a Bosa, and we got like a Clowney.
Yeah.
You know, and Clowney's has had a great NFL career, bro. He's a good player. He's worth the first round pick. Statistically, he's worth a first round pick. So he's made a few Pro Bowls, had some good moments, been on some winning plays, been a part of some good defenses. I mean, that's the kind of career I think Chase Young is having. Unfortunately, we thought we got Bosa.
Consistency has been Chase Young's biggest issue.
It's undisciplined.
Yep. Tia, Ryan, Brandon, Tim, thanks for popping in. Terrence is an Eagles fan. We love Terrence, a friend of the show. Me and Green's been on the show a few times. Good luck against the Packers, man. I think they got a chance to take down the Packers got a chance to take down the Eagles. We'll see how it goes.
Eagles are getting this at the worst time just because of injuries and everything else.
I'm assuming this is Tip Tone saying, fun fact, that was the only triple header playoffs Saturday ever, 2020. I did not know that.
I remember that. I remember it being a big deal. Like they're gonna have 3 games on a Saturday.
They don't got paid.
3 wildcard games.
All right, let's we'll start with J-Lo on this one. So we met with you guys week 1, and then you guys, you ended up victorious over us week 1 by a score of 37-20. Jaden Daniels' first ever rookie start. It was quite a weird game for us. We didn't know what to expect as Commanders fans because you only see so much in the preseason. Looked like they kind of had a throttle on him. If you've watched him play during this year, the playbook has definitely changed since week 1 for the Commanders. And so it was 37-20 was the final score. That's how we opened up. 4:25 p.m. game on a Sunday. But ever since week 1, J-Lo, in your opinion, walk us through the rest of the 2024 season and how we got to where we are today with us facing each other in the playoffs for Wildcard.
I mean, week 1 was a very learning experience for Jaden Daniels. For his first game, he actually was pretty scary because he was getting away, able to scramble, make little plays from what I had noticed. Then you had a brand new, pretty much defense. You had new players on the defense on the Washington side of the football who kind of struggled a little bit at first, but then they started, coming back a little bit, making a competitive game, I felt. But for the most part, I mean, y'all guys came on really good, start off really hot for the most part. And we kind of started off a little hot at first, and then we kind of fell a little bit in the middle of the season because of the schedule. But for the most part, Dallas their way out of the playoffs. They weren't a really good football team, which I knew they wouldn't. And then y'all guys just started competing against really good football teams and pulling out some strong wins. And then now here we are, and now we're pretty much going toe-to-toe where it's a totally different ball game. I feel like the playbook's different. I feel like we're going to see a lot of difference as far as, Jaden pretty much playing a little bit better and, for the most part, throwing the ball on our defense. And unfortunately with us is injuries. We had a lot of injuries, unfortunately, on the defense side of the ball for the most part, besides Godwin going down. That's a bigger difference as well because Godwin was a key piece. I felt that gave us a really hot start, and then we ended up losing him for the season. And that I feel is going to be a bigger difference now compared to what we played out the first time is that we got different players on defense depending on who's playing corner, safeties. That's going to be my biggest question mark. Can the defense actually get some stops?
Can I ask you a question? You brought up Chris Godwin, and I want to kind of piggyback off that real quick.
Sure.
So I did notice that Evans had to basically play to the end to get that to eclipse Cherry Rice's record for 1,000-yard seasons. We kind of did something similar last year for Terry McLaurin, where he barely got over the 1,000-yard mark. But Terry McLaurin has always had the issue of it's been Terry McLaurin and a bunch of other guys. Mike Evans has had Chris Godwin for years on the other side of him. Does the absence of Chris Godwin has that diminished Mike Evans' productivity overall?
I can jump on that one right
here.
Yeah,
go for it, Gene. I'll let Gene speak this one.
Absolutely not. Mike Evans was out 3.5 games with a hamstring injury.
Okay, and I didn't see that. I just saw the reception.
Yeah, and just what it doesn't matter who the quarterback was, whether it's McCown, whether it's Jameis Winston, whether it's Mike Glennon. whoever it's been, Mike Evans has gone out and produced. There was a really interesting video on YouTube, and it showed each of the quarterbacks that threw to Mike Evans when he caught his thousandth yard. It was kind of cool just to kind of see all these different quarterbacks that he's had to deal with. I mean, you look at Johnny Manziel. Johnny Manziel should take half of that Heisman Trophy and give it to Mike Evans.
Absolutely, yeah.
You know,
not wrong.
And I'm not being disrespectful. I'm just saying Mike Evans is a first ballot Hall of Famer, and just what he's been able to accomplish with what he's had, he's really had an amazing career. If you really look at it.
I had somebody ask me today, who would I rather have, Mike Evans or Julio Jones? Mike Evans every time, bro. Julio didn't have 1,000,000 yards and 3 touchdowns the whole year.
Yeah.
Mike Evans and Terry McLaurin are sharing some records here recently. I don't have them handy, but there's a few records that him and Terry McLaurin hold exclusively, which is crazy.
There was a time I would have interrupted you, like, don't ever mention them to be in the same.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to do that. I love Terry.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that I really feel like they have very similar career trajectories. I mean, Terry's a few years behind Mike Evans, but if you look at Terry, who has Terry had throwing on the ball?
No chances.
Heineke?
He is a no career
Sanchez?
trajectory with Mike Evans, bro.
Not Mark Sanchez. No.
Right.
That was the year before he came here.
They ain't even in the same tax bracket, bro.
No, but I'm just saying that if you look at the class of quarterbacks, it's Mike Evans had a lot of mid talent throwing him the ball, and so is Terry McLaurin. So I think but both have produced.
One of them was Mike Evans' production, and
the only year Terry hasn't gone over 1,000 yards was his rookie year. He had 919, and he only had 93 targets. And he was also getting the ball thrown to him by Dwayne Haskins, Colt McCoy, and Case Keenum. So it's not like he had a stellar cast of quarterbacks to start. Heineke wasn't exactly lighting people up on a weekly basis. Alex Smith wasn't doing that on a weekly basis, but Terry still produced. So I think that not in terms of style of play, but in terms of that career trajectory of they've produced despite who's throwing the ball. Terry and Mike Evans are very similar in that regard.
But I think when people talk about the last pure breed of air quotes big-bodied wide receivers, the first person that comes to mind is always Mike Evans. When Drake London came out, who's the first person they compared him to? Mike Evans.
That's because they're both light skin.
I was about to say that, Dev.
It's like every light skin rapper compared to Drake.
I was thinking it.
Yeah.
No, but everyone was
I'd say Plaxico Burress.
Everyone was saying that, right? I mean, Drake London's 6'4", Mike Evans is 6'5". Yes, they're both light skinned, but Mike Evans is like, there's not the new breed of wide receivers is getting shorter. Like Mike Evans 6'5", Justin Jefferson is 6'1". Like it's crazy how these new breed of receivers are coming out. And I always wanted a big body wide receiver. We haven't had one of those. I don't even know the last time we had one of those big bodied 6'4".
The dude that used to play the Rubik's Cube.
Cam Sims.
I mean, ended up being nothing. But Gene, how about you, man? What's your opinion of how the 2024 season has transpired since week 1 up till now? Then we'll go to stuff.
For me, there are 2 teams that I hate more than any teams in the NFL. That's the Dallas Cowboys and the Atlanta Falcons.
Hey, you get an air one for that one.
I hate them.
Thank you, sir.
I want them to fail. I want them to fail as long as the NFL is in existence. That's how much I hate Dallas so much. I will not go to a Cowboys game in Dallas. I had gotten free tickets, would not go. This is just how much I hate them. But I'm getting off on a tangent here. The fact that the Bucs lost to Atlanta twice and they lost to Dallas, the axis of evil right there, that was kind of a disappointment to me. But the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have done good. I'm happy with what Baker Mayfield has been able to do. I love that word redemption. I love the fact that people get second chances. What Baker Mayfield has been able to do as a Tampa Bay Buccaneer is what he should have done in Cleveland had he had an organization that stuck behind him instead of being behind a rapist. So to me, he was able to come back and do what he did. I love where I'm concerned about our defense at times with all the injuries, with the bend don't break, and outside of that, the Bucs have done. It's been fun to watch these games. Whereas in previous to 2019, it was you didn't know what you were getting, and you had to load up on beer and alcohol just to get you through the games and stuff. But having a competitive organization from top to bottom, our general manager Jason Light and his team, they're doing a great job with draft picks. The emergence of Bucky Irving, who nobody saw. I'm a huge Rashad White fan, but getting somebody like a Bucky Irving in there.
Yep.
Kalijah Cansey coming back from injury, Vita Vea doing what Vita Vea does.
He's dangerous, man.
Yeah. And, he's a space eater. And just all these guys coming together and, getting into the playoffs again, unprecedented for us, for the Bucs. If you're a Bucs fan, you know what I'm talking about. We went through a drought, as fans, that we were worried right now at this time, about 5 or 6 years ago, we were looking at mock drafts because, we didn't have anything else going on. But it's nice to be in the postseason and, getting ready to play a game on prime time. So to me, I'm excited about it, and I'm looking forward to the postseason.
That's what's up, man. Yeah, Vita Vea is great. He's the epitome of a nose tackle. That's what you want. I think did he go to Washington? Yeah, he's a Washington guy. Now, at the time, I think we were running a 3-4 when he came out. I forget what year he came out in the draft. It's escaping me. I like 2017, 2018, 2019 timeframe. And at the time we were running a 3-4 under Jay Gruden. And I was like, man, we could get Vita Vea. And then, I don't even remember who we got that year. Probably like Josh Doxson or someone really terrible. Vea's a good guy, man. Stunner, how about you, man? Walk us through your opinion of how the Bucs have come along the 2024 season since the week 1 victory against the Commanders, 37-20.
Well, I'd say with the Bucs, we're above average offense and we have a below average defense. So put together, we're pretty mid. And there's been times of celebration, little times of frustration. So like when we played the Niners, when we played Atlanta, when we played Baltimore, very frustrated. And there have been times of celebration because our offense is very explosive this year.
Yeah.
I think losing Chris Godwin has really hurt our psyche and hurt our ability. When we had Chris Godwin at the beginning of the year, like when we whooped up on New Orleans, it was exciting times. And I think Baltimore pretty much threw a sledgehammer into our season. And just our defense, they're just mid. They're below average because they give up a lot of points and a lot of yards and a lot of big plays. But Todd Bowles is a very good coach, so usually he makes good halftime adjustments. So usually our defense looks terrible in the first half, and then we come back second half, and we look a lot better.
Todd Bowles, Washington alum, Redskin.
Absolutely.
We like Todd Bowles up in this area too, so no love lost with Todd Bowles.
You don't know at home, but halftime of the last game against the Saints, the Bucs were getting booed coming in the locker room.
Oh,
and I don't know if people really know that because you're not seeing it on the TV.
They came out flat in the first half of that game.
Was it in New Orleans or in Tampa?
It was in Tampa.
In Tampa,
It was in Tampa. Mm-hmm.
Man.
And we don't do good with mobile quarterbacks, and so Ritter was kind of moving the pocket around. He was really kind of eating us up.
Yeah,
and we really don't like the Saints as a fan base. They've just done some horrible things to us over the years.
Yeah,
ever since we got in the division.
Honestly, there are 4 teams. There are 4 teams in the NFL I can't stand. Actually, about 3 now, and the Saints are one of them. But I have my own reasons for not liking the Saints. A lot of people think that I'm super petty for it, but I don't care. I don't like them. Don't like the fan base. Don't like none of that. So yeah, I'm very happy.
Atlanta.
Yeah. Well, we most of the teams I don't like are in the NFC, ironically.
Yeah.
So I find myself rooting a lot for the AFC and the Super Bowls.
It's going to be tough because I got a soft spot for Baker, man. I love Baker Mayfield, but I also love Michael Penix Jr. And I know you just said you're not an Atlanta fan, but I really hope that kid does well. No offense to you guys. I just want to see that kid do well in life. I just think he's overcome so much to get to where he is. And, I'm hoping for things. Maybe not against you guys twice a year, but I hope he does.
Let me say about Michael Penix, he is a local hero. He played at Tampa Bay Votech right here locally in high school. Mm-hmm. So a lot of people know him and in his background story. I didn't get really to touch earlier on the last playoff game between Washington and the Bucs, and really Washington played us the toughest in that 2020 playoff season. If you know
That's
that,
right? Yep.
And you can look at the increase or the acceleration of both franchises are very related. The Redskins got Joe Gibbs, who was an assistant to John McKay, and they also got Doug Williams, who was our only Yes, he was our only franchise quarterback to ever be drafted. And with the Bucs, our turnaround really was in 1995 when Eric Rett kind of went crazy on the Redskins.
Yep.
And I was at both playoff games in 99 and 2005 against the Redskins.
Nice.
And I can tell you, in 2005, we kind of got gypped. I mean, that's kind of a sore spot. But 99,
I feel the same way about 99. So.
Well, I think Brad Johnson knew he was coming here, so he's like, I'm just gonna fumble this. Field goal because I'm gonna be there next year anyway.
Johnson was the one who got away, man. I cannot believe we let Brad Johnson go, man. He was the one.
Honestly, here's the thing. Honestly, if we had gotten past, I always say this: if we had gotten past Tampa Bay, we matched up way too well with the greatest show on turf Rams. It would have been a shootout game, but whenever we played them during that whole era, we played them well. We beat them. So I always felt that if we had gotten the Rams, what could have been? That could have been a trip to the Super Bowl for us, but it was a botched snap on a field goal.
There it goes.
I still have PTSD over that to this day. So
I think with the Redskins playoff moment, that was probably where you really knew they arrived. Was that 1990 when they really went toe to toe with the 49ers?
Yeah.
And I think the Redskins, even though they lost that game, they really kind of knocked the Niners off their perch.
Yep.
And the very next year, you knew they were going to win the Super Bowl because of how well they played the 49ers.
I think we played them in the division conference championship.
No, it was the one before the title game, and then they lost to the Giants the next week.
Yeah. We had beat the Eagles in a revenge game for the body bag game.
Yeah.
We'd stomped them 20-6, so it wasn't even close. And then we went out and played the 49ers, and the Niners were, going for the three-peat. Mm-hmm. And, it was Montana and Rice and John Taylor and all those guys right before that team started to kind of have to be fractured and rebuilt, the following year. So, yeah, that was. I know what he's talking about. That's when you kind of knew that 91 team was coming about. But I mean, that was towards the end of a dynasty that we had. And the Bucs kind of has a similar run from the late 90s into the early 2000s, mid 2000s even, where they were a constant playoff team. They won a Super Bowl. Man, I think you had 2 conference championships that you played in outside of the one.
Well, the Philadelphia got Dungy fired basically.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then when we got Gruden, we won the Super Bowl, and then we were hot and cold ever since. Like one year we would go 5-11, the next year we'll win the division, next year 5-11. And really what undid Gruden was Lane Kiffin getting the Tennessee Volunteers job because he took Monty with him and the team kind of fell apart.
Yep.
But Dungy, he was always consistent, but we were really mid. We would go 5-3 at home and 4-4 on the road, and we'd be 10-6.
I always felt that Dungy needed a better offensive coordinator. If he could have gotten y'all a little bit more dynamic on offense, I mean, those Tampa Bay defenses could have carried a good offense to.
We hired a guy named Les Steckel.
Yeah, I remember Les Steckel.
And he did a good job, and he kind of and nobody knows what happened to him because he got fired and he was like never heard of again.
Yeah.
So hey, I want to give a quick shout out, Spate Gamers. I think this is our first time interacting with you. Appreciate you joining us as we contain Baker and actually sack him this time. Coming back to DC with the W. I don't know if we're coming back to DC. I think we got to go on the road one more time, and the only way we can get a home game is through the NFC Championship, if I'm not mistaken.
No, we can get a home game if the Packers win.
The Packers win. That's right. Packers beat the Eagles. We beat the Bucs, and then we can get a home game hosting them, and then we will not get a home game against whoever wins, the Rams, whoever, the following second week. Ryan Elias, Baker going to throw some ducks. We getting home this weekend. We'll see, man. Indian Lake, Washington needs to push up the middle from their high-paid defensive tackles, Deron Payne and John Allen. Not sure if that's going to happen. Also mentioned, I think he said this during Phil's rant. You mean Gus wasn't a franchise quarterback? No, not so much.
No, even if he did manage to sneak into a Pro Bowl.
Yeah.
If I was a Redskins or a Commander fan, I'd worry more about outscoring the Bucs than anything, because that's really where you got a chance is our defense is so mid.
Let's talk about that. So Utah, what's up, Cody? Even good people ready for a W Sunday. Aren't we all, man? So are the Buccaneers and Bucketeers. So this is believe it or not, we are extremely well matched up. I don't know if you guys know these, if you break down the numbers, but you guys have the 4th ranked scoring offense. We have the 5th ranked scoring offense in the NFL. You guys have we are the 18th ranked points allowed defense. You guys are the 16th ranked point allowed defense. On passing, you guys for yards are the 3rd ranked best defense.
They're 30th for pass defense.
I'm sorry, on passing offense. Offense, you guys are the third best team in the league. We are the 17th. For defense on passing, you guys for yardage, you guys are the 29th. In retrospect, on passing, we are the 3rd best passing defense in the NFL. So flip flop, we are one of the best passing defenses. You guys are one of the worst. On the other side, rushing, we are the 30th ranked rushing defense in the NFL, while you guys are the 4th best in the NFL. So we have,
and both teams have defensive head coaches.
We also have the 3rd best rushing offense in the NFL.
Yes. So you go rushing offenses. You guys are 4th and we are 3rd. So the matchup is extremely, extremely even. And I think that's why the line is so close. I think you guys are 3.5 favorites, and what I'm maybe 4. At home. So it's a very, very, very close game. So moving on to our next topic, what are the matchups you guys want to watch? What are the matchups you guys are looking for? Now that we just talked about how even, we're basically, you guys have a check, we have a check. We're balancing each other out across offense, defense, passing, rushing. J-Lo, let's start with you, man. What are these matchups, any particular matchups you're looking to watch come Sunday night, 8:15 primetime?
To me, I gotta say Zach Ertz against our linebackers, particularly not Levante, but against either JJ Russell or KJ Britt, because we've not been doing well on covering the tight ends last few games. I've noticed. I think that'll be a matchup. I think that would probably catch my attention on defense. Should I do offense too, or should I just do defense?
Yeah, whatever you want, man.
Okay, cool. And then the other side of the ball, of course, Mike Evans versus Lattimore. That's a wonderful rivalry those two have. They don't like each other at all. I mean, it's going to be a battle between those two going one-on-one, toe-to-toe. Some games Mike gets them, and some games, Lattimore shuts them down. So to me, that's another matchup on the, flip-flopping, when it comes to offense and defense.
Fair enough. And I do want to pull up something here very, very quickly while you just mentioned you mentioned Marshawn Lattimore and Mike Evans. So we know there's history. I mean, honestly, I'm not going to lie. I recently learned there was history between these two guys. I know it was
bad.
And I realize that now. But the math right here, Mike Evans has only averaged 2.6 catches for 43.6 yards and 13 head-to-head games with Marshawn Lattimore. There's a video out there of these two guys literally exchanging blows. I'm talking about jabs left to right. Like it's almost like in hockey, right? When the puck drops and these guys immediately throw their gloves down and they're going to fight. I didn't realize like that's how this matchup is looking and how it's always been. Because we only got Lattimore, a month ago. We've only seen him play 1.5 games before they shut him down for his hamstring again. So I'm excited about watching this one. I don't know about you guys. You guys have the history on this one, so we don't.
It's prime time and plus prime time when it comes to Mike Evans and Marshawn Lattimore. I think both Stunna and Gene can agree with that these two are just don't like each other. And that's what I want. I want that matchup. You know what I mean? That's what fans want to watch. They want to watch a good matchup between, a very, underrated receiver, Mike Evans, versus, Marshawn Lattimore. Does he have more in the tank? We'll see. I mean, coming back from a hammy, those don't heal overnight, and we all know that.
Right. Gina, what about you, man? What are the matchups you're looking to watch for?
Man, they stole my thunder, man. Marshawn Lattimore and Mike Evans.
There you go.
To me, everybody, if you talk to new Bucs fans or certain Bucs fans, everybody hates the Saints. I hate Atlanta. I'm like pretty much indifferent when it comes to facing the Saints. They're just another division rival. And to me, that was always the matchup. Because Mike Evans right now is like my favorite player, just what he brings to the table. And I can tell you right now, if you look across the NFL, there is no greater rivalry than Mike Evans and Marshawn Lattimore. I promise you. I will argue this with anybody. If you could find me another rivalry where two men hate each other as much as these guys do, I would be happy to argue that point with you. But
you haven't seen it in forever. You don't see this anymore in the NFL. You had OBJ and Josh Norman for like a small window. Like you don't see this. What is it? Was it Terrell Owens and I forget who it was. Anyways, you just don't see this. So it's a very intriguing storyline.
You sure don't. And that's what's kind of missing is those types of storylines right there. And that's what's going to make the game fun right there is just what happens after the whistle. Are the cameras going to be on Mike Evans and Lattimore after the whistle? What are we going to see from them? Because that's to me is entertainment right there.
Yep, fair enough. Absolutely. Stunna dropped off.
The mic'd up. They got to mic those two up.
Oh my gosh, dude! If they mic up,
mic them up.
Or you just got to mic up one of them. Well, no, you cannot mic up both of them because you don't know what they're going to say on the sideline. Mic up, you got to mic up.
No way they do that.
You think it'd be too explicit?
Oh, that's right. I forgot. And you guys did have Josh the Toast on your team, didn't you?
We had Norman. Yeah, but the problem was Norman.
For a few years,
he was a great zone corner. What we do? We stuck him as a pure man-to-man guy, and we totally misutilized his talents. So he totally went to waste for us. So it wasn't a good fit here in DC. It was terrible. If these two got mic'd up, I can just imagine it'd just be.
Yeah, that's pretty much what.
That's all you're gonna hear is every 5 seconds. It's gonna.
And honestly, Mike doesn't really, get into much trash talking that we know of, except with Lattimore. Lattimore's a guy that just breaks him.
Yeah.
He takes Mike out of his total comfort zone to where Mike's like, okay, F it, what's up, and they just start throwing at each other. I mean, I would love to see them throw down because Mike boxes. He boxes during the off season, so he ain't no softy. As far as Lattimore goes, I don't know. But I don't know. I would not want to go one-on-one with Mike Evans.
But I mean, from a physical perspective, I feel like Evans probably has the hand up because Marshawn Lattimore, while we saw him for one game versus the Saints, he had a goose egg. Every person he covered, he had 0 targets that game. And the next game, I forget what happened, but
it was a mid game against the Eagles. He did all right, but he didn't. I mean, I think they got one good play on him, and it kind of skews the stats. But other than that, he kind of kept guys in front of him. They were alternating him between AJ Brown and Devontae Smith.
So we have a mixed bag. From a physical perspective, I think Evans might have the leg up on him if Lattimore is not 100%, but we don't know. He's a full participant in practice, so I don't know.
Well, I will.
That's the first time we've seen that.
Yeah,
is that Mike Evans? He was battling hammy as well that G mentioned earlier, where he was out for 3 games. So I'm not saying Mike is re-injured, but those hammies, they don't go away when you injure them.
They linger.
You have to really stretch it out and and run your routes very lightly. So really, to me, it's kind of an even matchup if you ask me, just because of injury-wise, what they both got with the hammies.
Right. Indian Lake says
we've been babying Sam Russell, letting him work himself back into game shape, which hopefully with him being a full participant in practice means that this has worked.
You mean Lattimore? Lattimore.
I mean, that's what I meant. Lattimore.
Okay, yeah.
On the flip side, when we're talking about Washington, I do want to see Jaden Daniels. I love that kid. I mean, second quarter of the first game of the season, I knew this guy was legit just watching him play, and nothing really fazed him. And the one thing that doesn't get mentioned about him is he can actually read defenses.
Yeah.
And that's and I'm surprised that more people aren't talking about that because there have been times where I've seen disguised blitzes and he picks up on it and he's still able to make a play. And I don't know if that's that's on the defensive coaches or what, but I feel like the speed of the game has slowed down for him. Each game he's played in the NFL up until now, and I think he's comfortable with where he's at. And the sky's the limit. If you can get help for him next season, it's just going to be crazy. And you guys can put the beats on Dallas, a whole lot more. So I'm good with that.
For sure. And that's one of the things we love about Jaden is no moment's too big for him. What do you do when you have a rookie quarterback? You confuse them, right? You have exotic packages, you run stunts, you do things that are like, oh, I don't. And with Jaden, I feel like, and maybe it's his God-given, athletic ability. If the pocket gets too hot, he just takes off. And he although I will say, as the season progressed, after week one, he has not had the run, one read run. It's been literally making all of his reads, 3 reads, maybe 4, and then deciding to run, unless it's a design run. And you can clearly see his game has evolved. So he's really going through all his reads before he decides to run, where rookie quarterbacks, usually it takes time for them to figure that out. So you're absolutely right. That's one of the things we love about Jaden too. So Indian Lake says Washington D-line has to play well. If not, it's going to be a long day. Bucky and Rashad, man. Cody says,
honestly, Bobby Wagner and Frankie Louvu, who I know probably when we did the Bucketeers podcast, they were talking, Bobby Wagner was brought up as the guy to watch. I think the guy to watch on our defense is Frankie Louvu and Jeremy Chin too, because those are the guys who bring the lumber. And Louvu especially. Louvu is a playmaker at linebacker. He came over from Carolina, and it's just I feel like he's gone up a notch. He in half a season, he took John Allen's spot as the leader of this defense. He took that from Bobby Wagner. He is the guy who leads this defense in terms of bringing that energy and intensity. He's a locker room guy, and he lays hits into people. And I really hope that whatever scheme they come up with, to stop the run, it's got to involve both Wagner and Louvu coming up, and even Chin, who is more of a box safety, but he's done well in coverage this year. But he's a guy who plays well up close to the line, and they all need to contribute in order to stop the run because the Bucs can run.
Yeah, straight up. I think that's what Cody was alluding to too. Running game versus that defensive front. Indian Lake also says Saints were still versus Jalen McMillan. I guess Jaden on our brains, man, is going to be a good one too. What about you, Dev? What are the matchups you're looking for outside of,
It's the obvious Robert versus corner.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I want to say it's got to be our offensive line versus their defensive line. That's the matchup I think is the scariest for us as Washington fans. I think the one that everybody wants to see, is the punter versus the punt coverage.
You mean Tressway versus?
I'm fucking with you. But definitely, I think it's the defensive line versus our offensive line. I think our offensive line has been terrible lately. Diaz or Badass, or whatever you want to call him.
Biotic.
Without him in there, Biotic, they are trash juice.
Yeah.
So Vita Vea.
No, I wouldn't say that. Biotic has been good. He's just been playing hurt.
And Vita Vea versus Dieter is something we do not want to see.
No, we don't want to see that. But I will say this. I think that the key part in the offensive line is going to be Kalijah Cansey against Brandon Coleman. When Cansey's out there trying to come from the outside and Coleman's got him, Coleman has had a decent rookie campaign. He's played above his third-round status as a draft pick. But, normally you don't find your franchise left tackle in the third round. We may have, but he's still not a finished product yet. And I do think that going against the Kalijah Cansey, someone who is very talented, is going to be very key for them. At the same time, Bucs run a lot of four linebacker sets. So you got guys like your Anthony Nelsons, Yaya Diaby, Levante David, even guys who all take turns on the outside. And anybody who's going against Coleman, because the Bucs have a pretty fast defense, and Coleman struggled against speed rushers. So that's I think going to be very key.
Yeah, fair enough. And for me, it's like I said this on your guys' show. It's Bucky Irving and Rashad White versus I'm not going to even say our front four because they're not huge on the run, but the linebackers, kind of like Phil said, it's going to be key for our linebackers to figure out how they stop that, dual-headed rushing attack. Because Bucky Irving, Oregon guy, what a great surprise, man. I really love Bucky Irving coming out of Oregon, and for him to just explode like he has on scene, and it's been great. I picked up Rashad White in multiple leagues because Rashad White was the favorite to be RB1. But let's roll into the injuries, guys. So what we have on screen for the audio crowd who watch this later, I'll just read the guys who are limited today or didn't DNP'd, and then we'll see what your guys' opinion on that. So Mike Evans, DNP, Jamel Dean, cornerback, Mike Edwards, safety, William Golston, defensive lineman, Logan Hall, defensive lineman, Sterling Shepard, wide receiver, former Giant, Tristan Wirfs, tackle, all limited today. In your guys' opinion, Jayla, I'll start with you. Any concerns about this injury report that we have in front of us right now?
I mean, from what I've seen, it's trending in the right direction. But the big question mark to me is Jamel Dean. He has been on and off, can't stay healthy, always gets hurt. But when he's on, he's on. And if he doesn't play, that's going to give Daniels a lot of advantage throwing against the backup, which would be Josh Hayes. Hayes has been picked on a lot the last couple of games. He stepped in for Jamel Dean. But it looks like he's been pressing limited, so it looks to me he's probably going to be a go. That's probably my biggest question mark. Anton Winfield Jr. being back, that's huge.
Yeah.
I think he's been battling injuries all year. He hasn't played at an all-pro level like he did last year. So unfortunately, after we played Jaw Guys, the first game he injured his foot out for a while, so we didn't see him for a little while. Came back, just wasn't playing the same on coverage and everything. So that'll be interesting to see how he comes back from this injury. He may not be 100%, but I'll take the 80 to 75% Antoine Winfield Jr. than the backups we got at safety. But Jamel Dean's my biggest one. Hopefully he plays. If not, it's going to be a long day for our defense because Daniels will go after Josh Hayes.
Yep, fair enough. Ryan Elias says we need Ertz to come up big. Juwan Johnson killed the Bucs up the middle last week. I think he's the big tight end from New Orleans, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
He's a hybrid wide receiver.
Big body guy.
That was a scheme. If you notice the second half, it wasn't the same. So
yeah,
it was a scheme.
That tends to happen in Washington. It's a story of two halves. We either do really good the first half and shut down, or we do, terrible. Like 7 games this season, we haven't allowed a touchdown in the first half, and then the next third and fourth quarters they score like 30 points on it. It's just a very weird season for us.
I will say this though, when we are behind in games in the half, we have come out strong in second half in a lot of games. If we're behind, I will give them this. We have a tendency that if we're up, we don't make adjustments because like, hey, what we're doing is working.
Right.
But when we're behind, I will give Cliff Kingsbury and Dan Quinn a lot of credit. They have been nothing short of spectacular with making the adjustments.
Yep. Hey, Troy Evans checking in from Twitter, or X. What was the score of the first game? It was 37-20. 37-20. As you know, Troy, I know you joined late, but we were just talking about how our seasons have evolved since week one, and we're a very evenly matched game. And Troy thinks Lattimore plays good Sunday night against Mike Evans. We hope so, man. We hope so. Gino, any of these injuries concern you at all before we go on to ours?
Just the stone-handed devil, Sterling Shepard. I hope he doesn't. Play, man.
Hey, you said stone-handed devil. That is a reference to me, Featherstone from Necessary Roughness. Don't throw it to stone hands. Texas State University, Armadillos. All right, go ahead. Sorry, man.
Yeah, no. The rest of them, I think that the Bucs will be fine with what they have. I'm superstitious. I'll be very honest with you. These late night games, and it's NBC. It scares the daylights out of me. I thought the Bucs did good when Shepard was out, just with the other wide receivers getting opportunities, and then he comes back in. You know, he's a stone, like I call him, the stone-handed devil. He drops passes at critical times. He frustrates me, and that's all. I just, knowing that he's like didn't practice or whatever, I'm hoping that they can lean on some of your other wide receiver talent, because the Bucs do have some wide receiver talent that really I would like to see them get more playing time to really see what they can do just, for next season.
Fair. That makes sense. I think McMillan's going to be a good receiver for you guys. I don't know how much longer Godwin's going to play. I mean, we talked about we wanted to pick up Godwin a while back when he was a free agent at the time.
That was a freak accident too. What happened to him?
Yeah, I drafted Godwin in, I want to say 3 leagues, at least 2, maybe 3, and it just wrecked my season. I had him and Olave, and they just both got injured. So from the Commanders' perspective, generally speaking, we're healthy. We had a lot of injuries coming into the winding down the end of the season. And I feel like they shut these guys down in preparation for the playoffs. I'm not sure. But we got Bates, who is limited. Biotic is limited, who's our center, who Phil was talking about. Like, we really need him to play. He's like our quarterback of that offensive line. And without him, the line, it just is dysfunctional. Jamison Crowder, our veteran wide receiver, he's limited on hammy. Cleveland Farrell, he didn't participate Wednesday. He's participating now on Thursday. Cornelius Lucas, backup tackle, he's limited. Frankie Luvu, linebacker, limited. And then Jeremy Chin and Brandon Coleman are full. Brandon Coleman he's our starting left tackle, so he worried us too. So, Dev, let's start with you, man. Any of these injuries worry you at this moment in his current state? As Dev dropped off, I think he meant to unmute himself. Phil, we'll go to you.
Honestly, okay, so Biotic, we're looking for him to come back, and I hope hopefully he does.
That's all right, Dev. We'll come back to you.
Tyler Biotic is the guy that I think is a linchpin, because if he plays and he's able to play well, he's not out there hobbling. He makes this offensive line immediately better. He is the straw that stirs the drink when it comes to the offensive line. Coleman's full go, so he should be good. Luvu going from full to limited is a bit concerning too. But I feel like Luvu's just he'll be like, look, just throw some tape on it, put a needle in my shoulder, and I'll be good to go. He's that kind of guy. Cornelius Lucas, is another one. I'd rather him out there than Wiley, but that's just me. Cleve Farrell seems to be on the upswing, which is good. Bates, as much as we don't really talk about Bates because he's not a big numbers guy, he is a tremendous blocker. And when we go to his multiple tight end sets, which we do often, he does make a good, he's a great blocker. He does a lot. They'll have Bates play. They'll run unbalanced lines, and Bates is sitting there at basically left tackle or right tackle in these formations. But he's also a guy who can, slip out there for the key catch. I mean, Bates, only had 8 catches this year. It feels like he had more, but he's a tremendous blocker. So I would like to see him in there as well.
Fair. What about you, Dev? Now that you've rejoined us, what do you think about these injuries?
I think the only injury I'm kind of concerned with Luvu going from full to limited. But maybe it's just for risk because Thursday and Fridays, he knows his assignments, I'm sure, right?
Of course.
I'm kind of worried about Cleveland Farrell, the depth of our defense. That running to the outside has been murdering us all year. So I'm kind of worried about defensive ends being out. But other than that, man, Jamison Crowder has been big for us. Him with a hamstring. I don't know who man's slot now, right? Is that McCaffrey?
I mean, if he goes down, it probably is. But
I'm saying he's come out big for us the last 2 games. So there is a little bit to worry about here. The biggest one, though, just to make your long answer, I just made it your short question long. Is Tyler Badias.
Yeah, I'm with you. It's the same thing. It's Biotic. He's the one. It's one you got to watch out for. So, okay. So next segment, and this is real. We'll take this from both sides, but the Bucs win if Gino. We'll start with you, man. Gino. D-Dev, you got Gino on the brain, man. Gene. Let's start with you. Buccaneers win if
the defense shows up and don't make any mistakes.
Okay. J-Lo, what about you?
Sorry. Run the ball. That's the only thing about Liam Cohen. He's so stubborn at times. He'll want to sling the ball, which is fine. But our best trait is run the ball. You run the ball. You take time off the clock. You keep Daniels off the field. You give our defense rest because they will gas out. That's the only way the Bucs wins if they run the football and win time of possession.
Yeah. Tim Calloway, what's up, Tim? Says I'd ask you guys to confirm this. I'm not saying this means anything, but isn't Baker 0-8 or 0-9 in his last primetime games? Is that a true stat? I see something. I just Googled it quickly, and it says I found 0-8.
That's a cool stat, but we're like 1-4 against teams that are in the playoffs, and the one we won was against a backward quarterback. So we can throw stats out everywhere.
No, we won 2 games. Well, no, one. One was
There's one, bro. There's one.
That's right, because the Falcons didn't make the playoffs.
Yeah, we're basically the Buffalo Bills of the
and the
NFC.
Cardinals. The Cardinals were 500, so they were helping our record, and then all of a sudden they went below 500. So we only beat one team over 500 this year. That was the Eagles. We only beat one team who's in the playoffs this year, and that's the Eagles with the backup quarterback. So
now we beat 4 teams in the playoffs this year, but. Oh no, you're right. I'm sorry.
We won. And I tell people we lost
it. We lost the other 3.
It's not your fault. You play the teams that are on your schedule, and that's it. Good teams do routine things routinely. You beat the team you're supposed to beat, and here we are. But J-Lo, any issues? You have any superstitions with this Baker Mayfield stat? Because we lived this for Kirk Cousins for a long time.
Well, last I checked, he won last year against Philadelphia in the playoffs in prime time. It was Monday Night Football. And they beat the Eagles in prime time. So unless he's talking about regular season, then at least at the Buck, I don't think he has. At the Buck, I know he hasn't won in prime time as a Buccaneer. As far as the Browns, I'm not 100% sure. Yeah. But here's a fun fact: when Baker's down by 10 points, he was 40 or 0 and something or some kind of crazy stat. And he broke that record and won his first game being down by 10, if I could throw that out there. Yeah. But as far as primetime goes, in playoff mode, Baker's on fire. So that's the way I look at it. When you're in the playoffs, all tables go. You know what I mean? Like all that show. It doesn't matter what your record is in the regular season. That's done. You're back to 0-0. It's win or go home. You know what I mean? But I feel like in prime time, he'll be fine in the playoffs. He'll be in the zone. I'm not worried about that.
And what I liked about Baker, I follow Baker his whole career. I really have always been a Baker Mayfield fan ever, leaving Oklahoma ever since. That's, him dancing in front of the team. But this season, he kind of added a little bit of shiftiness to him. He's never been known as a mobile guy. He's never been known as a guy who's gonna, you got to watch out for his running. But this year, I feel like he's deliberately running using his legs, and it's been very successful. He has 378 yards and 3 touchdowns on the ground. While that's nothing, nothing crazy like Jaden's, almost 900 yards, that's a very important factor in his game that Baker never really had before. And I watched the Bucs games over the season. It's really made a lot of difference. His escapability from the pocket. I think that's good thing to have moving forward. He should keep.
Well, he's running with confidence, man. When he gets those big runs, he hypes the team up, hypes the fans. hypes the whole team up, and that's what you need. I think it's what sparked the game against the Saints. He scrambled, and he kind of slid a little late. So, I'll give the defender excuse on that. But Baker didn't like that too much. He got up and said a few things that the defender didn't like, and the whole team came and protected him. That's another way I look at it. He runs with a lot of confidence and attitude with those runs.
Yeah. Brian says Bucs win if they get the run game going, the feed off play action. There you go. Our run defense is not so bueno. Bucketeers, I think this is Tone, says, no, we beat the Eagles on Monday Night Football playoffs 23. So maybe that's a little bit off. Like, we don't know for sure, but it is on Reddit. And then Reddit, how Reddit goes, just kind of circulates. And
got a mind of his own after a while.
Yeah. Ryan says Baker is also undefeated against NFC East teams year this, I believe. I guess we have to go back and check that.
We lost to the Cowboys.
You beat us. You beat the Eagles. Thank you. You beat the Giants and you lost to the Cowboys 24-26. And I think Bucs fans, they lost to Dallas, but almost.
That hurts.
Hey, Dallas did it to a couple people, man. Mike McCarthy.
They ran two kickoffs back in the last 2 minutes to beat us.
Yeah, that's right. Turpin. McCarthy's playing just well enough to not get fired, but also not be allowed to interview.
I'm good with that.
Yes, keep McCarthy, just like the Giants are keeping Joe Shane and Brian Daboll. Thank you, Jerry and John Mara.
But I will throw this out there, not to cut you off. But Baker, if you look at his wins this year, we did beat the top two teams in the NFC playoffs right now. We beat Detroit in their house. We beat Philadelphia at home. And then, of course, we beat y'all the first week. So that's a confident I would take for, Baker as far as winning against, NFC teams, if you want to throw that out there instead of throwing the NFC East, if that makes any sense.
Fair. That's a good point. Gene, what about you, man? Bucs win if?
For me, again, it's the Bucs defense has to show up. They can't make any mistakes. I mean, that's where it is right there. You got to get stops to give your offense a chance to get back on the field and do what they do. So it's very vital that the Bucs, the Bucs defense is not a liability.
Right. That's fair. All makes sense. Phil, what about you, man? Let's go move on to our side of the house. Commanders win if.
Commanders win if. It's very similar to Joe in that I'm going to say it's time of possession. Now, we do time of possession a little differently. Because we run the ball, but we also run a lot of the short passing game, a lot of wide receiver screens, a lot of quick hitches to the tight end, things like that. There's a lot of 4 to 7 yard passes in Jaden's game that are used specifically to keep tempo going, keep the rhythm going, and to keep the opposing defense on the field. We run a lot of quick huddle, no huddle type of stuff, a lot of tempo offense. And we'll peel off long drives doing that. I think that's something that carried us to a lot of win streaks. We need to continue doing that. That's where I actually said that Dyami Brown, command this, viewers, if you did not watch us on the Bucketeers, when it said a player to watch, I said Dyami Brown. And y'all know how much I don't like Dyami Brown. But I do feel that if we're going to be running a lot of this, tempo offense, but trying to play ball control, Dyami's going to be very key. He's going to need to catch, 5-6 passes, mostly off the screen pass, because he's done that well. He's never turned into the deep ball threat that we thought he was going to be, but he has developed into this screen game, and I feel like that if we run that screen game. We get it's an extension of the run game. It's kind of like the West Coast offense where they ran slants and short hooks, and that's the West Coast offense. It's an extension of the run game. We do it with wide receiver screens and quick outs and things like that. And I think that if we do that and execute that well, that's going to be our key to victory. Not just running the ball for time of possession, though we need to do that. Everything needs to be quick. Our run plays need to be quick. Keep it between the tackles. That's where Brian Robinson does best. Quick in between the tackles for the run game. Quick on the pass game. Bring that defense up, and then you try to go over top on them. We did that early in the season. It worked well. Do it again.
You never told me he said nice things about Dyami Brown, Steve.
Yeah, we haven't talked since the show. So on the Bucketeers, he's
Damn.
specifically.
We definitely going to lose now. Everything's going the wrong way.
It's on wax. Phil said it.
Phil,
gotta watch.
Hey, by the way, I know you guys. I don't know if you guys know this or not, but he also hates Paul Rudd movies.
Oh, he hates
and Paul Rudd in general
and puppies.
So yeah.
Wow.
Just kidding. Bucs fan says Winfield
Paul Rudd sucks, but puppies are awesome.
Yes, puppies are
and
awesome.
women. No, I'm joking.
Whoa.
I'm joking.
We do not need that out in the atmosphere.
No. We'll fire the pirate cannon on that one. We used to be our load the howitzer sound bit from Sam Howell days, but those are long gone. So Tim says Bucs win if they stick to the run game and don't turn the ball over. Ryan says Skins win if B-Rob gets going. Guy lacks vision. I will stick to that opinion that B-Rob lacks vision as a running back. If he isn't doing anything early, brings C-Rod in. I don't think they're going to do it. Austin gets 15 to 20 touches. This game is won if those guys cause havoc. So Ryan said it's in the trenches. What about you, Dev? Commanders win if. Commanders win if.
Stop Daniels from getting sacked. Basically.
Yeah.
Stop and I got one for you. Commanders win if. Commanders win if. Be it Brandon where St. Juice doesn't touch the field. If he doesn't touch the field, we got shot, bro.
So
he's going to end up in the field, somehow get matched up on Mike Evans and commit pass interference.
So in week one, Benjamin St. Juice was matched up with Mike Evans went 5 for 61.
McMillan, right?
With 2 touchdowns. No, Mike Evans. But the plays he was lined up on Evans were definitely 2 touchdowns. So at least both of those touchdowns were on Benjamin St. Juice. But Mike Evans went 5 for 61. It wasn't a lot of yardage, but it was just terrible plays at times. Like I said, St. Juice's plays are always at the worst possible time. Tim Calloway says, I'm not that confident, Ryan. Ryan was talking about B-Rob. Bucs fan between the tackles where Vita Vea lives. And that's my thing. So we talked about this earlier. The Bucs have the 3rd best rushing defense in the NFL in yardage allowed. 3rd best. Did I get that right? Yes. 3rd best and fourth best in rushing allowed. So to me, I think the key to the game, Commanders win if Jaden can pass the ball and use his legs to do what he does. It's going to be passing. It's not running for us. It's passing because that Bucs run defense is insane.
What did we say? What did you say the Bucs pass defense was at?
Not. It was in yardage wise. It's 29th.
Oh.
So, like I said, great run defense, terrible pass defense.
We're gonna bust y'all ass,
and that's why I say that the quick pass game as an extension of the run is key to winning.
Yeah, we're the opposite.
Time of possession.
Cody says Commanders win if run game is clicking, but I think it'll be a shootout either way. Yeah, same. I think it'll be a shootout. Why don't you think Christians won't come in? I was scratching my head to why he ain't playing at Dallas more. I think he meant C-Rod.
Yeah,
Chris Rodriguez. I don't know.
Chris Rodriguez is a closer. He's a closing pitcher. You bring him in. You bring him in as a fresh body with fresh legs. He's a microwave. He heats up quickly.
But I'll tell you what I would do. Wish they let us know.
He does a lot of his damage against worn-out defenses.
I wish they let us know when he's playing so I can bet him on FanDuel. Because every time I bet him on FanDuel, they run McNichols. I bet McNichols, they run Rod. I'm like, dude, just tell me which one.
Yeah. All right, let's do some quick over-unders. I'm not going to log these, but let's do some quick over. Ryan says Luke 4 catches.
I hope so. I've been waiting for that Luke McCaffrey breakout.
That would be his breakout game of the year. All right, let's do some over-unders here very quickly.
Brown next year.
Let's see what the guys are gonna. We're only gonna log the. We're only gonna log the predictions, but okay. So let's see here. Passing props, passing yards. All right, guys, let's figure this out. So for Baker Mayfield, let's start with J-Lo first. Over under 235.5. That's what they have him as even money. 235.5.
I say over. I think he'll definitely get over that mark. I think he'll be slinging the ball here and there, especially the Jalen McMillan, him coming on strong. I don't think Mike will get many touches because of Lattimore, but I think McMillan will. with Baker slinging the ball over the yardage, and plus K. Dot's bad too, so that's a big one.
Yeah, great tight end, by the way. Gene, what about you? 235.5 for Baker.
I'll take the over if K. Dot is healthy.
Okay. Phil?
I'll take the over, not by much. I don't think last time we played the Bucs, he went for 289. I don't think he's going to do that this game, but I can see him easily hitting 245, 250.
Okay. Dad, what about you? I'm taking the over, by the way. Over 235.
Ah, man.
Not by much. I think he might get 250.
I'm going under.
Under. Okay, Dad's going to take the under.
Yeah, I think they'll run. I think they'll lean on the run a little more.
Yeah.
I think Washington's pass defense is decent when Lattimore's out there, from what we saw outside the pass interference calls, I guess. But the run defense is not.
Well, remember and
they could have the lead and just run it.
Yeah, we're talking passing now. Remember, Washington has the fourth best passing defense in the NFL.
That's what I'm saying. I think they'll run the ball. I don't think they'll pass. That's why I'm going under.
Okay, fair enough. Bucs fan says Bucs run wild. Pass game over. I got you. I'm logging these, by the way. Why not? Cody's got Baker over. Gotcha. Tim's got Baker over. Deluxe, what's up, man? Thanks for popping in. Appreciate you. Better late than never. Bucs fan says they move Evans all over the place, so he will eat. We'll see. 5 for 61
healthy Lattimore out there. I mean,
to be determined.
Trailing him everywhere he goes.
Yeah, history says otherwise.
You can put him anywhere. He's still got the same guy in front of him covering him. So
yeah. All right. So for Jaden, they have almost the same 230.5 So we'll loop back around.
And all of our corners, by the way, piggybacking on what Phil said, all of our corners have inside and outside coverage skills.
Yeah. Phil, let's start with you. 230.5.
I'm going to go under, not much. I'm honestly 225 is the number that's stuck in my head with him.
Okay.
But 225 plus his running ability.
Fair.
Yeah,
I'm gonna take the over.
He'll scramble. I mean, Baker can get some yards on the ground, but you don't get yards like Jaden. So that's why I said I think Baker will have more yards passing. Jaden's effectiveness will be a little more dual threat. So I'll say about 225 for Jaden. So I'll take the under.
Okay. I'm taking the over. Deb, what about you? 230.5.
I'm going to go over.
Over. Okay.
I think we have to play catch up on this one.
I mean, and like I said, the Bucs have the very bad pass defense, yardage wise. So you're going over. Cody's taking the over. Looks like Tim's taking the over. Ryan's taking the under. Okay, J-Lo, what about you? 230.5.
I say over. I think he'll get over.
Okay.
I say over. I say about 250. Honestly, I think he'll hit 250. I think he'll scramble here and there as well.
Okay, Gene, what about you?
I'm taking the over. I put him at 300.
300. Okay,
damn.
Fair. All right, we'll just do receiving props for.
What got running in that too?
No,
just
passing.
I'm strictly passing.
All right, let's go passing. We're going to go Evans. Looks like they have, and this is, by the way, this is on Fanatics. It's very similar to DraftKings and FanDuel, but 75.5 is what they're giving Evans. J-Lo, let's start with you. Now we're templating Marshawn Lattimore is going to be healthy, and we showed the tweet earlier that he's averaged 43 yards a game versus Lattimore. So,
oh my,
this is why these numbers where they are. These numbers make
how many touchdowns to get on this one?
Doesn't have. Let's go yards. It's 2 yards.
Yeah, we're just going yardage.
Truthfully, I think he'll hit just under at 70. I think he'll get a couple big catches, but that's about it. I mean, Lattimore's a dog, bro. He's especially if he's really gonna play, which I think he will. I know Mike will get some touches, but he'll make it just under. I'll give him 70.
70. Okay, Gene, what about you, man? 75 and a half.
I'll take the
Under. Okay. Phil, what about you?
I'll take the under. I think the Bucs are gonna have to spread the ball around. I mean, he'll get his fair share of targets and such. He'll get 4 catches, 65 yards, something like that. He won't be totally silent, but he's not getting over 75. But I think the Bucs are also going to fire the ball in all different directions. I'm
going to take the over, and I think there's going to be a big play. It might not be like 7, 8, 9 receptions. I think it's going to be a big play that's going to be, 30, 40 yards, and he'll be able to get his 75.5. So I'm taking the over. What about you, Dev? 75.5 for Evans. It's right there, man. That's why Vegas knows. Vegas knows the number.
Ryan Elias didn't catch the injury report.
I'm going under on that.
Under? Okay. I'm the only one taking the over. Okay. Ryan says Evans over easy, gets that in 3 plays. Tim's got the over. Left Lattimore's healthy under. Okay, Tim, I got you under. Ryan, I got you under. Bucs fan, Mike will get 8 catches over. Okay. Bucs fan's going 8 catches over. All right.
Always gotta have the homers.
Yeah, it's fair. Cody's going over with me. Okay, so me, Cody, and Bucs
Ryan
fan,
Elias doesn't realize that Lattimore is a full participant in practice. He's healthy.
He is. Okay, next one for receivers. We're only going to do 2 receivers. Terry McLaurin, 60.5 for Terry. 60.5. Phil, let's start with you.
Over, and I think that's actually for him. It's going to be what you said for Mike Evans. He's going to get a big play, like he'll get a couple of short yardage catches as well. But he'll have that one big play down the field, that kind of bumps up the yardage total. So I'll say over, but it's going to be more on like I said, one big play. It's going to bump up those yards. I don't think it's going to be on volume. I don't think he's going to have a 7, 8, 9 catch day. I think he'll be in the 4 to 5 catch range.
So this is why Vegas just amazes me and how well they pick these numbers. This is Terry's last 5 games, starting from the most recent backwards. Okay, listen, 62, 5, 60, 73, 73. So for them to put it at 60.5, damn, that's a tough number, man. That's right there on the cusp.
He's been over that all but 1 game, though.
He has, but yes, I agree with you. I'm going to take the over on 60.5 as well. Deb, what about you? 60.5 for Terry. You're mute.
I'm going to go over on that.
You're going to go over? Okay. Gene, we'll go backwards to you, man. Terry McLaurin, 60.5.
I'm going over.
Going over. Okay. J-Lo?
Over, man. Scared Terry scares me every time.
Fair. Tim's taking the over. Phil, Ryan said side bet he gets over. He's talking about Mike Evans.
I'll take that for a $1.
Okay, $1. Okay. There you go. Fair enough. That's what we do. We love that. Tim's going over on Terry. Ryan's going under the 60.5. Okay. We log these just so we can make fun of each other later. Cody's going under. Defense will have to scheme against Terry. They'll do what Atlanta did, and they do it. That's fair. Jack Attack, what's up, Jack? Thanks for popping in, man. Jaden over Baker for sure. Okay, gotcha. Ryan said we're going to have to rely on the other wideouts. God help us. OZ, Deami, never know what to expect. Serve it with others. What's up? I think first time seeing you, man. Thank you so much for taking the over on Terry, 60.5. Appreciate you joining in, man. Thank you very much.
Just as a reminder, last time we played the Bucs in the playoffs, Terry went 6 for 75.
Yeah, fair enough. All right,
by the way, Cam Sims 7 for 104.
For rushing yards, do you guys think we should do?
Cam Sims broke 100 yards.
Shoot for rushing yards. Should we do Bucky Irving? That's probably the better one to do than Rashad White.
Yeah,
right, they have Buck. Oh my goodness. Okay, Bucky Irving, 95. Holy smokes. 95 yards for Bucky Irving. I'm sorry, 85.5. 85.5.
I'm going to go over 85.5.
85.5.
I'm going to go over that.
That changes my thought on
Sorry. J-Lo, what about you? Bucky Irving, 85.5.
I say over. I think he'll get his touches. You got to get that man the ball. He's been besides Rashad White contributing as well. But, yeah, I say over. He'll hit that.
Gene, what about you? 85.5 for Bucky.
Oh, I'm going to say over on that.
Yeah. Phil?
I'm going to go against the grain. I'm going to say under, not by much.
Ooh-wee.
And it's not because we're going to bottle them up or anything. I think we get about 77 to 80 yards. I think Rashad White gets enough touches and takes away just enough opportunities that Bucky Irving gets 30 13 carries for 80 yards or something like that, but or 10 carries for 80 yards, something like that. And Rachaad White gets 10 touches himself. I think they'll try to go two-headed against us and really just try to keep the legs fresh in there.
I think what you got to be scared of though is the big play ability that Bucky Irving has. All he needs is one crease and he can take it to the house. And that's the only thing that I'm saying. When you're looking at him where he can get bottled up, he just takes one play to break it all open.
Oh, absolutely. I'm just looking at the fact that, I just feel like that he'll get that big play. I just don't think he's going to get a high volume of touches. I feel like the Bucs are going to try to truly go two-headed at running attack against us, just keep legs fresh and take advantage of our weak run defense and not just feed one guy. Which, last game we played, Rachaad White had 15 carries and Bucky Irving had 9. I think you could almost see it as a flip. I could see it as Bucky Irving gets 15 touches and Rachaad White gets 9. But I think, again, that's 15 touches for 80 yards is still a very productive day.
Yeah,
that's fair.
I think Rachaad White gets enough carries away from Bucky that he doesn't quite get to that 85 plus mark. But I'm just also trying to be a contrarian. So not all of us say the same thing.
There you go. Ryan's got over for Bucky. Bucs fans got over for Bucky. Serve with it says Bucky. I can see getting 100. I got you logged. Tim Calloway's got Bucky over. Ryan Elias says over under 5 touches on my wife tonight. Okay. Hey Ryan, I'm going under. It's Thursday night. Probably already in bed. That's all I'm saying. Cody's got Bucky has big first half, watching the adjust. He's going under. Okay.
I can see that too, because we've done that a lot where a guy will go off on the first quarter and then nothing after that.
But let me ask you guys this real quick while we're on the topic of Bucky Irving. So he has about 1,100 yards rushing, another 400 yards receiving. What do you classify Bucky Irving? So you got running backs that are like bruisers, they're bowling ball, pile drivers. You got guys that are elusive guys. You got the Christian McCaffreys who can kind of do it all. You got the elusive guys. You got the scat backs. What do you classify Bucky Irving as? Gene, we'll start with you. What is it, if you had to describe him in a word, what do you describe him as a running back?
I would say like a speed back, just the way he hits the hole and
5'10", 195. He only does one thing well, and that's be fast.
Yeah. What about you, J-Lo? He ran a 4.55 40, so he's definitely not slow.
His speed on the field is probably a 4.55.
Yeah, game speed and 40 speed different. Go ahead, J-Lo.
Oh, man, he's tough to tackle. To me, agility, making people miss. He's done that a few times to where the play about ready to blow up in the backfield, and he gets out of a tackle and takes it up like 5 or 6 yards. He's a tough SOB to tackle, man. He's got the speed.
Curse. You can curse on here, man. You can say whatever you want.
Okay, I'm about to say he's a tough son of a bitch.
Yeah.
A very tough son of a bitch. Like that man, you get him a play blow up and he'll juke a defender out of his shoes just to get an extra 5 or 6 yards. That's one thing I will say. To me, he's definitely an agility guy who can make people miss.
That's fair.
You're saying the key to stopping him is open field discipline.
Pretty much, yeah. You just got to tackle him. If you don't tackle him, the man's going to get the yardage and tire your team down. You know what I mean?
This is why I said Wagner, Luvu, and Chin are going to be keys to that because those guys can make the open field tackles when they stay disciplined. So that's going to be key.
Ryan said, Eagles game with Barkley, we shut him down second half. Bucky has it all. He's willing to bang and finesse. But so early on, we talked about how your season has evolved from week 1 till now. Is one of the factors Bucky Irving's emergence? Because like when I said, I drafted Rachaad White in 3 leagues. No one's thought Bucky Irving was going to be the premier back he is. So has his evolution changed the trajectory, changed over the course of the year? Like, did you guys know as Buck fans, Bucky Irving's RB1?
Nobody had that on their bingo card.
No.
Right.
No.
Right.
I thought they were going to slowly break him in.
Yeah.
Sean Tucker was pretty productive in the preseason. He's our third back who's very reliable too. But back to Bucky Irving, we didn't see that coming at all.
Right.
I mean, I knew he could make people miss, but wow, the dude is electric. I mean, I haven't seen a running back like this since what, Gene? Doug Martin?
Doug Martin, yeah.
Martin. And you know what's funny? His emergence, I will tell you,
That's
what round?
Quarterback name right there, Doug Martin.
What round did they draft Bucky Irving in? Do you remember?
Fourth,
It was a fourth round draft pick.
And you know why this is?
Was that the muscle hamster?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that fucking guy, man.
Yeah, but he didn't like that name. He changed it to the Dugger now, which was so terrible.
Dumb. Yeah, he's still a muscle hamster. You know what I'm saying?
He was good though. There you go. Serve it with others. 4th round, win 26 pick. Thank you. Bucky Irvin's emergence kind of reminds me of Terry McLaurin's emergence. He was a 3rd round pick. Thought he was going to be a solid guy. Terry was a good special teamer. Nobody knew Terry was going to be the guy he was going to be. And it sounds like Bucky Irvin's kind of that guy for you guys. And it's kind of a nice surprise. But then eventually,
I think we knew as soon as we seen him get on the field.
We did, yes, but you know what I mean. His talent clearly was 1st round talent. They got him in the 3rd. You know, we didn't know either way. Tim Cowley says Joe, it makes good second half adjustments. But we can focus more on the run in the first half, please. Yeah, these teams always get out hot starts on us, and it's been a kind of a pain in the ass. Ryan says Notre Dame just went up with 5 left. Here we go. What's the score? Tell us the score.
17-10.
Okay, we'll do one more over under, then we'll call it good here, guys. They got Jaden Daniels 50.5. Dev, let's start with you. Jaden at 50.5 rushing yards. It's not even worth doing anyone else.
Over. I'm over on that.
Over. Okay. I'm taking the over 2.
You might get that on one run.
Yeah, maybe. I'm taking the over 2 on that one. Phil.
Over.
Okay. J-Lo.
Over.
Okay. Gene.
I'm gonna probably go over.
50.5. Okay. Bucks fan says Tucker's very good. He's an angry pound you back. We should be using him in the 4th quarter. What do his numbers look like? I'm trying to see. How has he done this year, Tucker?
He's run the ball pretty well. To me, he's like a short yardage guy. What do you think, Gene? Like a short yardage guy? You know, kind of clean
50 for 308 and 2 touchdowns. Okay.
This is what you do if you're doing clock management and you're trying to wear down a defensive line. That's when I would use him.
Okay, fair enough. Ryan says JD's going to put the game in his hands. So I don't know if you guys saw our last game, but Jaden literally willed us to victory over the Cowboys. It was crazy. Like on his own 2 legs. Dev and I were live streaming at the time.
You mean against the Falcons?
Falcons, excuse me. It's Falcons game and the Cowboys.
Mariota willed himself against the Cowboys.
But against the Falcons game, I was like, watch this, Dev. Jaden is going to will us to victory. I am not worried. And then sure enough, he just did it. And I hope he doesn't, hurt himself doing that. But knock on wood. Utah has Jaden over. Server with others, Jaden over. Tim's got Jaden over on rushing yards, taking over the game for the win. Ryan's got Jaden goes on a fake reverse to the house. Ooh, they haven't done that yet. Okay. I hope not. I hope not too, man. I mean, I hope so. We'll see. Anyone want to do predictions? We did these on your show. I know. I forget who said they didn't do predictions, but
me.
Okay, that was Gene.
Didn't do it.
All good. So J-Lo, let's start with you, man. What you said? Can you just repeat the one you have on your show? But what do you have for a prediction of this game?
So on the Bucketeers show Tuesday night, I believe I said 35-34, Bucs win. I'm still going to stick with that. I think it's going to be a shootout. I think we're able to run the ball proficiently, and Baker's going to probably struggle in the 2nd quarter. That's what he does. In the 2nd quarter, he doesn't play so hot. I think Jaden's going to just do what he does. Just use his legs, find whatever it takes to get the ball moving. I think it'll come down to whoever has the ball last, and I think the Bucs get that final touchdown to seal the deal in a close one. And MVP, if I could throw one out there, I'd say Baker Mayfield. He's just a dog. Yeah. Guy's a dog on the field. He is a competitor, and I'm a full believer he can make a run with this team.
Love Baker, man. Hey, if you guys beat us, we're proud to you. I hope you guys win it all. You guys are Sam Darnold. I'd like Sam Darnold. You, Baker or Sam, to take it all. Those are the 2 I want to do. Gene, I know you don't make predictions. I respect that.
I'll give you a prediction right here.
Okay.
Dallas is eliminated from playoff contention for the 2026 season.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
Nostradamus over there.
That's right. Let's go. Let's go. Dallas eliminated next year. All right. Phil, what about you, man? What you got for this game?
As I said on the Bucketeers Podcast, it's going to be 31-28 Washington. I think this is going to come down to, the very end, and you know how it is. Jaden Daniels, no moment's too big for him. He will find a way to will us to a victory, and this is going to be a moment if he does that. If he has like another one of these last-second drives. Remember, he set a record this year, not a rookie record, but an NFL record for most touchdown passes in the last 30 seconds of a game and overtime. With 5, right? If you're scoring like that late and you're putting teams on your back the way he's done, if you have that chance, it's going to happen. And if he does, first of all, the legend of Jaden Daniels is sealed. Forget Heineke putting up a great game and a loss. You're going to see Jaden Daniels willing a team to victory and a win, all right? And that's going to make him a legend in this city for the next 100 years. Right, they're going to talk about him if that happens, and I think that it will. It's going to be a very close game. The Bucs are not a team to take lightly, obviously, and I don't think anyone in our organization is focused on anything except one team, and that's Tampa Bay Buccaneers, because nothing else matters. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are the only thing that matters, and when this team gets focused, we've seen it. When they've taken it one game at a time, this team does well. When you catch them kind of overlooking a team, that's when they struggle. And I think that that's what happened against Dallas. They were looking towards the playoffs. And I think that this time around, it's going to be a much closer game. I feel like that the Tampa game week 1 would have been a lot closer if we had adequate kicking. We left 7 points on the field, but it's at the same time that could change the whole specter of the game if we made some of those field goals. So 31-28 Washington. It's going to be a close one. If the Bucs pull it out, I will not be surprised. I don't think it's going to be a blowout either way.
There you go. All right. Phil's got 31-28, you said?
31-28.
31-28. Bucs fan, 31-27. Bucs close game. Ryan's got 34-31. Jim Sleaze, I can't find my glasses. Handle J-Lo.
Oh, Jesus.
Jimmy, it's J-Lo.
Tampa.
813. 813 is the area code down there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Good guys.
Disrespectful, man. We like these guys.
Tim says good guys, 38-27. Ryan's got 34-21 skins. Utah has winner will score 40. When I say winner, I mean Washington. So the over-under is 50.5, according to Vegas.
So I'm gonna throw this out here because I don't know if she's actively watching the chat.
Crystal, 30,
but I'll tell you, my girlfriend will say 23-19.
Crystal, like the champagne.
Always.
She picks
Dev,
that score every time, 23-19.
What about you, Dev?
Over under 50, right?
Over under 50.
30-24 Buccateers.
Buccateers, okay, being the dissenter. So I like I said, I'm not a homer. When we was on your guys' show in week 1, I predicted the Commanders would lose against week 1, and they did lose against the Bucs. But honestly, I feel we're so evenly matched. And I said this on your guys' show. I think it's going to be a shootout. Like you guys said, come down to the final possession. All of our wins the second half of the season have been the last possession of the game. It's been so frustrating. But I think it's a 27-26 Commanders victory. It's going to come down to a last possession field goal or touchdown in some way, shape, or form. I think it's going to be 27-26 Commanders. But honestly, any team could win this game. It's very close. The spread is 3 points for Tampa. Wow. And it's a home game. So really it's a pick 'em. So it's a pick 'em. It's going to be a great game. Tia's got 30-27 Commanders. Okay, Tia, we see you. 30-27 Commanders. All right, I think that culminates our show here, fellas. We really appreciate you coming on tonight.
I like all the Bucs fans in the chat, though.
Yes, that's
like
good
this
stuff.
one right here.
Oh.
Like this guy right here. It's a Bucs fan. Last 5 games, the Bucs held teams 9 points in the second half. The flip side of that, we've outscored teams tremendously in the second half of games in the last 5 games. That's where we've been really good at those halftime adjustments. Again, team does well here, and we do well here. Team does well here, team doesn't well do here. Or this team does great at one thing, and the other team sucks at it. But when you flip it, then it's the team that does well in one aspect sucks at the other. So that's why it's a very even matchup for sure.
Turbo Duran. First time seeing you. Appreciate you, man. Watch out. Word is going around that Baker Mayfield's a better quarterback than Daniels. Different.
4,500 yards and 41 touchdowns is nothing to sneeze at. I'm not going to say Baker Mayfield is trash. I've always liked Baker Mayfield, so
they're different quarterbacks.
My real name is Duran Turbo.
Duran Turbo.
My real name is Duran. My name is Duran. That's my middle name.
Like Roberto.
Yeah,
Duran?
I like Duran, the hungry like a wolf.
Duran.
I'm hungry. I'm older than that song, so.
There we go.
You named after Roberto Duran?
Into the fire.
So where'd it come from, Dev? Was it from Roberto Duran, Hands of Stone?
No, I don't have no idea, man. My mom's dead now, so I can't ask her.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I brought everybody back down a little bit with that.
Yeah.
Hey,
you sure did. Serve with others, Bucs fans. I think these are both very even teams in their own respect. Yes, and I think that's what we need to go into this game thinking about. It was a pleasure, chopping it up with you guys. And
for real.
Make sure you guys go follow the Bucketeers on Twitter and make sure you subscribe to their YouTube channel. We streamed their video onto our channel from the other day, our live stream. But make sure you guys go check you out. J-Los, any final closing words before we shut this thing down?
Thank you again for having us on. Like I said, y'all guys have been totally awesome. Enjoyed chopping it up with y'all. Made the best team win.
Absolutely.
At the end of the day, like you said, you root for us. We're gonna root for y'all too. If we lose, we like Jaden. For the most part, we like Jaden Daniels, and we'll pick the Commanders over any of the NFC East teams, if you ask me. For the most part, and I'll be at the game Sunday night in the cold. And I'm just gonna enjoy the environment, the playoff environment. That's what it's all about. I was there last year when we beat Philly and knocked them out. Great feeling. Hopefully we'll see it again. On our part, your part different.
Yeah.
But anyway, thank you for having us again, man. Y'all guys are awesome. Tremendous.
Yeah, appreciate you. You have to let us know how the game atmosphere is, man. It should be fun. And really, I'm just curious to know about the percentage of Washington fans, because I think we're going to travel pretty well. Sunday. Gene, what about you, man? Any closing words?
All right, fuck Dallas.
Yeah.
My man.
Fuck him, guys.
Fire the cannons for that one.
Fuck the Giants too, if you're listening.
Ryan,
fuck the Eagles.
Phil's out of town. Dev and I hadn't decided. I think we might go live Sunday night. I'm not sure yet. We'll figure it out.
You just crowd live on TV.
I'll tune in.
You know what we should do, Steve? And I'm bringing it. Hold on. Do any of you guys play Madden by any chance?
I boycotted Madden.
I don't have it.
Yeah, I'm not good at it anymore. I haven't played it in a month, but I'm starting to play the game. They got new updates. They got the play that Terry scored on Arizona. That I forgot what it's called, but they got that play on there. No, the one on Arizona that the game-winning touchdown.
Arizona, we beat Arizona by
I know
20 points.
I'm talking about the last touchdown, that Z-shaped crosser, whatever it is.
Oh, okay.
I got the play from there on there. It's pretty dope. I was gonna say we could play the game like our part against y'all's, man. I'll be Tampa, I'll be watching.
Yeah, you can put Dev up there because I don't play Madden anymore.
Yeah.
In the words of Danny Glover, I'm too old for this shit. I don't play that like I used to anymore.
That man right there knows.
Yeah. Ryan says, J-Lo and Buck, what great guest. Let's have a good game. There we go, guys. It's all love. Deluxe said to let us know how the crowd is. Deluxe, we got a ton of friends traveling south for the game. A ton. And I think they're all going to be in section 1. They're all going to be in the
Deluxe
same
is saying he will let us know because Deluxe is going to be there.
No, that's what I'm saying. I know. Now, my caveat is
Are you taking Ann with you, Deluxe?
We have
the lovely Miss Ann.
Yeah. Bring the guests back and have a show. Yeah, maybe we'll have a recap on Monday. Bring you guys back and however it goes. We'll see how it goes. Ryan, thank you so much, man, for the super chat. $9.99, man. Always blessed. Always.
I'm rich, bitch.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ryan. I love you, brother.
Beer, money.
Yeah. Oh, Deluxe is taking his brother this one. Okay, there you go.
Just 300 more of those. I can pay my child support.
Yeah, there we go. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much. Have a great weekend and have a best of luck to you guys on Sunday, and maybe we'll chop it up Monday.
And you know what? Best luck to y'all. I like Steve said, like I've talked about a million times already. I'm going to be out of the country for this one, actually, and if we win, I'll be out of the country for the next one too. Because I'll be on a.
Somebody decided to take a trip out of the country during the playoffs.
Well, you don't usually make the playoffs, so I thought it was
Fucking
No, I can't do that.
That's how much he believed in us, man.
I know.
Hold up. It had nothing to do with me. I didn't schedule this. My birthday falls on the 17th.
That's how God. That's what
my
God
girlfriend,
believes in us,
my
bro.
girlfriend, my lovely girlfriend, planned this whole trip, right? And she's done an amazing job. She, planned all. We talked about. We got the excursion set up. She paid for this whole thing. She planned it. She's the one who set it up on the proper ship, the flight, everything. Like, she has done an amazing job. I haven't even taken this trip yet, and it's already probably the greatest trip I've already taken. And I haven't even set foot on the airplane to go down to Florida to get on the ship.
Hail Mary and you miss it.
I will be watching though. There are bars on that ship. I will watch.
Burgundy and gold.
So I will be watching with her. And
Brian said you better hook up with the Spinneroonie.
Spinneroonie. The fuck is that? Is that a sex move?
It's probably like the rusty trombone or the brown necktie. The angry dragon. It's probably one of those maneuvers.
Cleveland steamer. No, none of that. No. I got my own bag of tricks, damn it, Ryan. I will be using those. But let's go. I got to shout her out though, because nobody has ever done anything like this for me before, and like, this is, like I said, I haven't even taken a trip yet, and it's already the greatest trip I've ever taken. So, and I've been overseas, but it was nothing like this.
What's the Spinneroonie though? I need to know what the
Spinneroonie. Go look it up.
It's a maneuver by Booker T from wrestling. If you look it up on YouTube, the Spinneroonie, that's what it's all about. Of course, my fat ass won't be able to do it, but
yeah. Hey man, I'm a big guy. Yeah, I got two positions. You know what I'm saying? 2 or 3. You know what I'm saying? I do very well. The rest of them have to do some of these. You know what I'm saying? I have to do some of them. I got, my missionary is strong. You know what I'm saying? Very strong.
Oh man, good times, fellas. Good times. All right, guys.
Keep out of ears. That's my position. I'm good with that one.
Oh, Ryan says Notre Dame pick at the 1. There you go.
Through a pick or
slippery snake.
Pick?
There we go.
They picked it off the 1.
All right, guys, we're going to get on out of here. Thank you so much. Thank you for those in the chat who tuned in. Love every one of you. Thank you to the Bucketeers fans who showed up to talk with us. May the best team win on Sunday. And make sure you guys follow, like, and subscribe to the Bucketeers Podcast. I'll put their link in the description of this video in about 5 minutes. So just make sure you go check it out. All right, guys. As always, appreciate you guys. Peace. Inhale. We out.
Hail.